Hi Year 5, welcome back to another week of Year 5 home learning. We have got lots of things to keep you busy and unbelievably what is our final full week of the summer term. So let's take a look at the Google Drive and see what we have for you this week. As always, the explanation of tasks is there to recap anything, so you can always look back just to see what's going on. With a reminder there about using SATS Bootcamp, lots of English, maths and SPAG activities ready and waiting for you. Maths, as always, we've got the White Rose Maths links. There are still 4 sessions with the Friday Maths Challenge. This week is looking at metric and imperial units. So that's looking at things like millimetres, centimetres and metres compared to maybe using feet and inches for measuring something. Then we've also got converting units of time and reading timetables. There's a couple of links there to take you through to some games online. Some of them do only work on a computer or laptop, so please be aware of that when you try to open them. You may have done a little bit of this over May half term. We did some video links for you then about timetables and converting units of time particularly. So this will be a good recap for you. They are different activities this time. If you didn't, then you might want to have a look back at some of those things that we made for you then as well. All the activities are here for you within our maths folder. English this week is all different. We have finished Boy in the Girls' Bathroom. I hope you really enjoyed the story. I know lots of you have told us lots of things that you have really enjoyed about it and have produced some fantastic writing, so well done. So this week it's all new and different. We are looking at a newspaper and the newspaper article we'd like you to have a go at writing is all about Joe Wicks. He has over the last few months been creating PE videos every single weekday for children and their families to follow. So we would like you to create a newspaper article explaining about this massive feat that he has managed to achieve. So there are 2 video links that you could watch. The first one here talks all about Joe's experiences over the last few weeks, and it's almost like a big summary. So there'll be loads of things you could take from there and magpie for your newspapers. This one then links to one of Joe's many workouts, and you could watch any of his workouts to kind of inspire you, maybe even have a go at one of them if you haven't been doing them every day. It's about 5 minutes at the beginning before Joe appears, so you might need to just skip forward a little bit. There's also then a document also in the English folder which just talks to you about Joe Wicks and why exercise is so important. And finally, at the end of this document, you'll find lots of information out about him as well. So how could you lay out your learning this week? Well, you might want to interview your family or a friend to get their opinion or take on the actual workouts with Joe. You might want to then just create your own plan. There's 2 different ways that you could plan out your work. And it might be a case of you just wanting to note down those 5 W's, the who, what, when, where, and why. And then actually creating your newspaper itself, having had a look at our model texts. There's success criteria here, which I won't go through in detail, but just remember that difference between your main newspaper being written in a formal style, so that pretend you work for the BBC, so it has to be a formal style of writing, compared to perhaps if you have a quote from someone, it might be a little bit more informal or chatty. So you need to think about how you are going to change the way you write to show that difference of formality. As you scroll down, you've got 2 different ways of planning. Either way is absolutely fine. Okay, this one then you've got your flow map. They both develop the plan in the same sort of way, but just look a little bit different. Your choice if you want to use one of those. You can draw it out yourself on a piece of paper, or you might have your own idea for a way of planning, but these are good guidance for you. As you keep going, there's an example article which picks out some of the main features of a newspaper. You'll cast your mind back to when we wrote newspapers before, about Midsummer Night's Dream, and think about the things you had to include. We've also adapted a text from BBC News as a model for you about how you might write. Mrs. Roberts has picked out all the main features for you over here to remind you things like what is an orientation and a reorientation? How do quotes look and how are they punctuated? So do read that carefully to help you think about how to lay out your writing and some of the information you might include. Then at the bottom, you've got the information and other articles about Joe Wicks. So you could grab some of that to magpie and add into your news articles as well, just as some background information. Okay, we hope you really enjoy the task. It's something very different this week, and we'd love to see all of your writing. So please do email it in to us, y5@harrisonprimaryschool.co.uk, so that we can read it, enjoy it, and share it on our celebration assembly. As well as that, then this week we have got a science activity for you. It's all explained here in a video from Mrs. Sharp this week, all about making your own straw rocket. We'd love to see your creative designs, find out how far you got your straw rocket to go, but watch the video because Mrs. Sharp explains fantastically just how to make it and some of the ideas of things that you could do. Okay, then we've also got our spelling and spag this week, much the same as previous weeks. You've got your spag mats, mini spag test, you've got Mr. Whoops, and you've got the spelling mat there to help you. There's an optional extra quiz for you, and there is the spelling lesson there to help explain about the different suffixes. Geography this week then, there is a document here and it's all about weather and tourism, and it's building on from all the work you've been doing over the last few weeks. And as we scroll down, you can see here there is a table all about, we've got degrees C, so that must be temperature, and millimetres. I can see up here it's talking about the rainfall. All of this is in the Alps. We'd like you to create a line graph of the average temperature using the scale on the left, and then a bar chart of the rainfall data, which is using this scale here on the right. Now, as you look at it, the first one's already been done for you. It's a bit complex because you're trying to do two graphs on one grid. So carefully think through and make sure you're using the right scale as you're reading. You can see this first one here. I've got -2 is where that X has been placed. And I can see here January, the average temperature is -2. And then up here, as I'm going up, I'm looking across, but I'm not reading from this scale. This time I've got to read this scale over here. And as I go all the way across, I can see it's at around about 49 millimetres, as it says up here. So can you create your graph? And then we'd like you to have a think as well about what impact these temperatures and the average rainfall might have on tourism itself. There's some thoughts here about different events as well, and you can think about when each of these following events might happen, because the weather does tend to have a huge impact on tourism. Okay, then other activities for you this week. As always, you've got 2 reading comprehensions, one here and one here. You have got a computing task. And this looks like lots of fun this week. We've got lots of different games for you that you can have a go at playing with someone else in your family, and some which you might have a go at yourself. For example, laying out 10 objects, and it could be anything if you look at this picture, into a sort of pyramid pattern. And then your challenge is you can only remove 3 items. By removing these 3 items, can you make it so the triangle points downwards instead of upwards? I want you to really think very carefully. This is computing because it's all about thinking logically. So not just, oh, I'm going to take this one away and pop this one in here. You need to stop and think really carefully about what you're doing and why you are doing it. There's battleships, in like a large version of battleships, if you read the instructions. And you've got different magic square games and box games. And it's all about that logical thinking and thinking about where you're going to move and why you're going to move in that way. As well as that, BT have created something called Digital Dash. And again, it's lots of things about thinking about computational thinking skills. You must get mum and dad's permission before signing up. But it's an app that you could download onto a phone and follow the instructions. There's lots of different things that you can play, new skills to develop, and fun to be had in designing your own Digital Dash athlete. Finally, then, you have your art home learning this week. Your artwork has been absolutely stunning to see. Okay, and as you go down this week, you'll see that we're having a go at drawing faces. Have a look through all of the details so you can see the best ways to add features onto people's faces. And perhaps you can have a go at drawing a member of your family to send in for us, or maybe even yourself. Okay, thank you so much to everyone who has also attended our Zoom meetings last Friday. It was so good to see so many of you. We will be having another go at our Zoom meetings this Friday coming Please keep an eye out on your emails and you will see what time your class meeting will be. Thank you again so much for all the work you're sending in. We hope you're staying safe and well. Keep remembering, please, go on Times Table Rockstars, have a go at SATS Bootcamp, and send us in any of the learning you have been up to as we are approaching the end of our summer term. Have a wonderful week, guys. Bye.